into the 30s in terms of my battery percentage, and I'm at 98 miles is what the range estimate is, but I'd still be surprised if I can get that much.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, we're breaking new ground anyways, right? I mean, we've never towed with a Silverado EV, and we're not exactly sure about its battery capacity. On this episode of TFL Truck, we're continuing a story we started over a year and a half ago. It's traditional gasoline power versus electric power.
But a year ago, we tested an F-150 Lightning that didn't have a ton of range, and now we have the Silverado EV with a claimed 450 miles of range.
And there's only one way to really put it to the test in the real world. It's hooking up pretty heavy 6,500 pound trailers, identical trailers, and trying to go as far as possible, maybe Nebraska.
Let's see what happens.
So now we have to top off, right? So we have to add energy to the Chevy, and we have to add fuel to the Ford.
Yeah, and this is something that we've talked about a number of times before when towing with an EV, because you have limited options. There's not a lot of pull-through stations here.
No. And so we're blocking partially one station, but thankfully you're almost fully charged, right?
Yeah, I'm actually still indicating 100%, but
Really?
We want to make sure that we're fully topped off when we start our actual test. So we just came from the ranch, and we're going to put as much energy into it as it will take, but like Andre said, we're blocking a little bit of traffic. Thankfully though, we do have this hyper fast up to 350 kilowatt charger right here.
And this truck is capable of this. It's capable to receive up to 350, so
yeah,
that's
which
awesome.
most EVs aren't. So nice to have a truck that can take charging that quickly and a charger that can dish it out. Although now that, I mean, we're still around 100%, it's certainly not going to be charging at 350 kilowatts.
No, we just need to top off. So, do you want to pull the plug?
Pull the plug on the whole operation. Are you ready?
Yeah. I've got my app. It says it's initiating. So I've got the Electrify America app. It actually says all 4 stations available here are open and available.
So currently we're charging at about 51 kilowatts. It's not charging that fast because we are almost full on this battery.
Here at TFL, we use a lot of fuel on a daily basis because we test everything. And we always use Sinclair. They're a partner of ours. Check them out, also using the link below. And why do we use Sinclair? Well, because you could save money, about 10 cents per gallon. You can have the DynoPay app. You can find the stations near you with the best deal. I'm using 91 octane because this is a turbocharged engine, and for best performance, they recommend premium fuel, especially for towing. Alright, as always, I'm gonna wait 30 seconds and top off. Alright, I'm topping off, so everything should be just set just right. I'm gonna reset my trip meter.
There we go. So finally it says please unplug. We are now full on at 100%, no doubt about it. We took on about 8 kilowatt hours, which I'm surprised by because it said 100% when we left the ranch and we drove only a couple miles, but it looks like this packed in some more energy. So now we are definitely at 100% power. So we have tow haul mode enabled here, and as we start driving, it should recalculate what it thinks our range is going to be, because that 475 mile estimate is definitely optimistic. That's going to recalculate when it sees it. We're pulling a trailer.
Okay, for this particular test, I chose a newish Ford F-150 EcoBoost. So a twin turbo V6. It's slightly used and it has lots of miles. It has about 62,000 miles on this particular truck. But this is a crew cab 4x4 short bed, which is one of the most common current half-ton gas-powered trucks you can buy.
It's a similar cabin bed configuration to the Silverado EV, but there's a couple big differences when it comes to specs here, and I have to go ahead and say right off the bat, I've got 515 horsepower and 600 pound-feet of torque.
Well, yeah, so you have twin motors, right? Front and rear motors. You have four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive. I have one engine. I do have 400 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque, so this F-150 is no slouch. And of course, so we have plenty of power, but the route we're choosing for this test is the same we did also with the Hummer EV versus Cummins Ram, which is a northern Colorado highway route, and we want to go as far as possible to test the ultimate range of these trucks when towing.
The other good thing about it is that it's a relatively flat route, which means it's more comparable to the kinds of trips that a lot of people are going to take, because we live in Colorado, we do a lot of towing tests in the mountains, but a lot of people don't live in the mountains. So this is not only a very flat route, but it also doesn't have a lot of traffic.
Absolutely, dude. We're going to Fort Morgan from Longmont, Colorado, and like you said, it's flat-ish, as flat as it gets in Colorado.
So this is going to be very interesting. So did your range recalculate? How are you doing on your range?
You know, the further we go along, the more it's kind of figuring out that it's definitely not going to get 475 miles of range like it said when we first started going. Right now it says 466, even though we're only 3 miles into our trip right now. So it's figuring out that, yeah, there's a trailer back there and it's not going to get that full range estimate.
There's so many people that helped us do this video, so let's show the trailers.
Dude, this thing is sweet.
Yes, so thanks to our friends at CompleteTrailers.com, check them out using the link below, we're able to get 2 identical in-tech trailers, basically race car haulers.
So how much does this bad boy weigh?
So the trailer is all aluminum construction. It's pretty amazing. It's super high quality. The trailer weighs about 4,000 pounds, just empty. We have machines in here because that's what we have.
Yeah.
So total weight with some of our equipment and tie downs is around 6,500 pounds. And I checked it at the scale. Well, let's show the other trailer.
Oh, look at that, another side-by-side.
Yeah, it's a Honda, so it's a slightly different machine, but we checked the weight and it's the same.
Yeah, which makes sense. Now, what I want to know is, how tall are these trailers?
So they're about 7 feet tall, so they're not gigantic toy haulers, right?
Yeah.
Like we used last time. So this is, but still, this is a usable case, right? This is what people do. They haul their race cars or off-roaders all around the country.
Definitely. I mean, this is a larger profile trailer than a lot of the stuff that we tow with, so it's definitely, even though it's not super heavy, gonna push a lot of air.
It's also 8.5 feet wide.
Yeah, it's not a small trailer.
Yes.
As always, both Andre and I are towing with these Gen Y hitches. Right here, I have a glider hitch, which actually dampens some of the movement here, which makes it even more comfortable to tow with, and it's rated for 7,000 pounds, which is right around what we're towing.
And I was able to get this F-150 thanks to our friends at Brighton Ford, Colorado. Also check them out because they have a huge inventory of used trucks and cars and also brand new ones. All right, now let's talk a little bit about how we're setting up our trucks. So obviously we both have tow haul modes, we both have brake controllers, we both can change, the gain on how powerful the trailer brakes can be, but we're using these features very differently. For example, because this is a new trailer with brand new brakes, I set my gain a little bit higher at about 7 out of 10, which means I want to kind of burnish the brakes in, make sure they're seated properly, and so I can pull this trailer confidently. And I am using tow haul mode, but it's not going to affect me too much on the highway.
Yeah, and I'm also switched into tow haul mode, but on an EV like this, that doesn't make a massive difference because there's not a transmission to change the shift points on, so really it's a pretty minimal difference being in tow haul mode. But what I have done is I have my gain set lower than normal because when I let off, I want to regain as much energy as possible. And we're not quite hypermiling here. I'm still running the AC and driving as I normally would, but driving relatively conservatively, not using too much throttle and not going super fast because we want to try and get some pretty decent range and efficiency.
We're also running side by side, right? I mean, we totally took the climate out of this equation. You know, we're running at the same time and the same road. So it's not like we did one run one day and then came back another day and finished the same loop. So we're trying to remove as many variables as possible.
That's right. We're going to be in the exact same conditions, going the exact same speed on the exact same highway. So it really doesn't get more apples to apples.
And you can only see it where? On alltfl.com, of course.
That's right, baby. Woo!
All right, so what do you say? Should we put a few more miles behind our belts and see if we could push it to what, 200 miles maybe?
Let's settle in and see how they pull these trailers.
All right, my friend, so we got onto Interstate 76 going northeast, and the speed limit here is 75. But I just learned something. With this crosswind, my F-150 is being a little bit buffeted.
That's interesting because my Silverado EV is solid like Dwayne Johnson. It is not moving anywhere. I mean, this truck outweighs this trailer by a good margin, so I am feeling no sway at all. We say it all the time that I could forget the trailer is back there, but between the torque from this EV powertrain and the weight of this Silverado EV, genuinely, I have a hard time feeling the trailer behind me at all.
Well, I was about to say the same thing when we were on the side highway going 60, but going 75, I have to slow down a little bit to like 72 or 70. So you may have a weight advantage, but can you give me a hint at your efficiency?
Well, I'll tell you that my trip odometer is saying I'm getting 1.1 miles per kilowatt hour. So basically, pretty similar to what we've seen before. And now that we've gone about 54 miles, you know, it should be about 20% of my battery.
You're doing really well. That's really surprising. Holy cow. So maybe we could make it to Nebraska.
Yeah, I mean, at this rate, I should be able to get about 200 miles of range on a charge. So that's pretty good considering the size of this trailer.
Now, what about mirrors? I don't have towing mirrors on my F-150. This is a 2021 model. Of course, towing mirrors are available. I could add them. And I have a little bit of problem seeing around this big, massive trailer.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, but a little worse off because, I mean, my mirrors might be a little bit bigger than yours, but you at least have the option on an F-150 to get a full-on towing mirror, whereas currently, for 2024 with this Silverado EV, the mirrors I'm looking through are the only ones that I can get.
Now, here's another thing I want to point out, Andre. Do I count 6 lugs on your F-150?
Yeah, you did count 6 slugs because I'm a half-ton truck, my friend.
Yeah, I got you beat there. I got 8 lugs, buddy.
Well, you're basically, by curb weight, you are about a heavy-duty diesel. But by payload, you're more of a half-ton. What's your payload capacity?
Yeah, here in this 4WT spec of the Silverado EV, I've got 1,400 pounds of payload and I've got 10,000 pounds of towing. But if you opt for the smaller battery 3WT version of the Silverado EV, then you can actually get 12,500 pounds of towing and you get, what, an extra 350 pounds of payload?
Well, that sounds better on the 3WT. My Ford has about 1,600 pounds of payload. I'm all aluminum body and bed, so I'm relatively lightweight and efficient. and I can tow about 11,000. So actually those specs are close.
The other thing I've really been enjoying in here is the one pedal driving. Even with this trailer hooked up, it's still regenerative brakes pretty aggressively, which means this entire time we've been towing, I have not touched the brake one time.
Well, you are saving brakes, my friend. All right, well, let's keep going. Okay, so one thing that I don't like about this display is that it doesn't give you exact current percentage of battery, right?
I know, and it even says 100% right there, which is weird. It's confusing. It makes it seem like you've got 100% battery, but obviously you don't, because we're below the 3/4 mark here.
All right, so your current efficiency is 1.1 mile per kilowatt hour, according to this. And we've been doing pretty good. I mean, we've been keeping with highway speeds.
Yeah.
But I want to see what the truck says. We here pulled off at Fort Morgan, which is one of the charging areas.
Yeah.
What if we do this? What if we turn the vehicle off? 68%. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Which is impressive. I mean, we've gone 82 miles at this point.
So we used 32%, or a third of the battery,
Yeah.
approximately, to go 82 miles. So we can multiply it by 3.
Yeah.
So that could be over 240 miles or 250 miles.
Which is good. I mean, that's better than I would expect from it being 1.1 miles per kilowatt hour.
Yeah, so this battery may actually have more capacity than we expected, because General Motors does not state the exact usable capacity.
Right. 212 is what we understand it to be.
Yeah. From like EPA documents about the Hummer, etc.,
Yeah.
etc. So, but this may have more energy.
Well, with as much battery as we have, it'd be weird to turn around now. I say we keep going.
All right, let's keep moving. And if something happens unpredictably, maybe we can turn around and head back to our original station.
Yeah.
So we've gone approximately 116 miles since we left Longmont, and this is our halfway point, we think, according to our estimation. If that Silverado can get home and make it 230 plus miles without recharging, I think it'll already be by far the best towing electric performance we've ever seen or ever thought possible. Let's see what Case has to say.
Well, I'm at 52% battery after 116 miles, so we're very, very close to maybe having enough power to get back home, but maybe not. I might have to start pulling back a little bit on my speed and trying to conserve some more energy.
Case, I'm looking at my gauges right now, and I'm at exactly 50% of my range. So I've gone 158 miles, and it says I'm at half tank, and I can go another 158 miles.
Yeah, I've dropped down into the 30s in terms of my battery percentage, and I'm at 98 miles is what the range estimate is, but I'd still be surprised if I can get that much.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, we're breaking new ground anyways, right? I mean, we've never towed with a Silverado EV, and we're not exactly sure about its battery capacity. So you and I can't really, be scientific, super scientific about this. But how about this? In about 40 miles, we can pause and make another decision. How about that?
Yeah, I think that's going to be necessary because, I'm at 0.9 right now, miles per kilowatt hour, and we were at 1.1 when we headed out.
When we turned around, I was at 52%, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it all the way to Longmont, where we started.
So, my friend, we've gone 205 miles, and what is your truck telling you?
Well, I've got a lot to think about from the cabin of the Silverado EV here, because the truck is telling me I have 40 miles of range left, and now that we're off the highway, we're 26 miles away from the charger where we started at. However, all day, this range estimator has been definitely optimistic, and although it has gotten a bit more leveled out in how quickly those numbers are dropping as we've gone along, I don't necessarily trust that this truck can actually do 40 miles. Now, we're a little bit more efficient here now that we're off the highway at slower speeds, so we're not using quite as much energy. So I think there's a solid chance that we'll make it back to Longmont without me needing to stop and basically put the trailer to the backup camera truck. But yeah, I don't know, it's close.
Well, let me ask you this way. How much sweat do you have on your forehead right now?
More than usual, because I turned the AC off, so I really don't want to get stranded on the side of the road. But yeah, I mean, I'm a good bit below 25% battery. I'm just above the halfway mark. That's between 25 and 0. Yeah, I've got a message saying charge vehicle soon, so we're definitely getting pretty low on the battery here.
Hey Case, are you still alive? Are you back there?
Not only am I alive, I'm doing well. I'm 21 miles of range is what the truck is estimating, and we're 2.5 miles away from the charger. So we're gonna make it there somewhat comfortably, but for a while I wasn't so sure.
All right, dude, I'll see you at the charger, and I cannot wait to figure out what percentage you have left.
Yeah, it's not gonna be a ton.
All right, now let's see how much energy or fuel did the F-150 use. All right, now 30 seconds as always, I'm gonna top off. Oh wow, that was a pretty small top off. The truck is showing 10.2. We went 232 miles approximately. Divide by 23.625. 9.8. So the truck is pretty close to reality. I'm almost at 10. I'm pretty happy for the gas truck. All right, dude, a little bit of data time, right? Total trip distance, 232 miles, 0.4.
On a single charge, not bad.
1.1 miles per kilowatt hour. This is towing 6,500 pounds.
There's a Volkswagen next to us.
Yeah.
So it's kind of tight getting in here. I don't think these charging stations are made for trucks, because now I'm trapped.
I don't think so, and there's not a lot of space on that side either.
I might have to Dukes a Hazzard out of here.
Wait.
I'm bigger than that. I'm not very large, but...
So, do you want to pull forward? Maybe you can open it here.
I bet I can back
pull
up a little
backward.
bit.
Yeah, back it up.
Yeah, that should be good.
A little more?
I think we're
Okay.
solid. Yeah. Could be better.
All right, Case, but what about this door?
Oh yeah.
It's opening.
I think we've got enough room but this is a large vehicle.
This is
different at different places, man. Look at that, 366 kilowatts. That's pretty good. So now we are really charging fast. We watch the energy delivered. You'll see how quickly we're jumping up in power. So it's one of the nice things about these Silverado EVs. It is a big battery, but you go to a fast charger like this, you can really pull in some power. To sum up, we towed 232 miles, and for Andre to fill up his F-150, it cost $98. Now, the Electrify America we were charging at, they were charging 48 cents per kilowatt hour, and if you do the math, it would have cost me exactly $98 as well to fill up the Silverado EV. However, we only put enough juice in the battery to get us back to the ranch, where it only costs us 17 cents per kilowatt hour to charge, and that factors for less than $20 to fill up the truck.
So I think overall it's a very positive result on both sides of the equation. I got 9.8 according to the pump,
Yeah.
MPG, which is pretty good for a turbocharged engine, right?
Definitely.
Pulling a trailer. You went the furthest we've ever gone in an electric truck with a trailer.
232 miles on a charge?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty impressive, and it makes sense. It's a big battery, but yeah, after that amount of driving on the highway with a trailer, I'd be ready to stop for a half hour to 45 minutes to let this thing charge. I just wish that there were stations we could pull through so that we don't have to disconnect the trailer or block traffic.
Exactly. Or open the door, actually being
Yeah.
able to open the door.
Exactly. If there were charging stations that were set up for charging with a trailer, then this would be a genuinely great tow rig.
And I think it's coming still, right?
Oh, yeah.
We're still in early days.
We'll get there.
And it's a fast charger too.
Oh, super fast.
So there you have it. Let us know what you think in the comments below. And oldtfl.com is where you can find everything TFL.